We cannot fully identify a gender of a person right when we see them, so therefore, I believe that it is not within my own individual liberty to gender that person.
Wait, what?
I've been waiting for a long time. I've kind
So
of
have
pondered.
I, for this moment.
Yeah, I've kind of pondered how to ask this, but how does your view of transgender issues work when scientific anti-realism as a concept exists?
You're going to have to explain that one.
All right, so scientific anti-realism...
What does that question even mean, fool? What does that question even mean? I can't be the only one who was a little lost with the... Like, what does that mean, bro? I'm in college, I've never heard somebody say like that. This youngin' probably pretty smart, bro. The question like that is insane.
Is the concept that when you see me, you see, my skin, my hands, everything about me. But you do not see my cells, you do not see my atoms, you do not see the things that make up the things, they are just physical. So there is no really true way to prove, other than by hitting me, obviously, that I am right here, if it is only us two talking. So therefore, this would apply to any gendering things, including intersex, which can have an XX or XY chromosome and have androgen or estrogen insensitivity. So
I just need you to narrow this down. Is
yeah,
the argument
what
that
I'm
things
trying-
that we don't understand the nature of things because we don't have microscopes, and therefore we can't determine sex?
I would like to narrow it down to we cannot fully identify a gender of a person right when we see them, so therefore I believe that it is not within my own individual liberty to gender that person.
Here's my problem with that particular argument.
Wait, what? Bro, that's like saying you can't identify a wall when you see it, or you can't identify PlayStation controller unless you touch. Like, bro, oh my goodness. What does that even mean? Like, I'm not even trying to make fun. I'm really not. Like, I genuinely don't really understand what he's saying. Like, if you see this water bottle, can you, like, y'all can't touch it. Like, is this water bottle real? Is it a hologram? Ooh, you never really know. It could be fake. It could be real. You never know.
The answer is that in 99.8%, 99.9% of cases, you absolutely can gender somebody based on looking at them. Like, really. If you're going to use intersex people as an example of not being able to do that, this does not obviate the biological duality of sex upon which all progeneration is based for all of human history and for all mammalian species. So intersex people do not invalidate the concept of sex as a generality. Intersex people are people who have a biological anomaly. And by the way, in most cases of intersex, those people still manifest as either a male or a female. So the idea that intersex exists does not invalidate the idea that there is a male and that there is a female, or that in nearly all cases, I can tell the difference between a male and a female. Again, I'm not saying, by the way, that if you can show me your chromosomal charts that you are actually not a male, when I say that you're a male, that I should stick with that biological objective standard. Like, my perception of you, in other words, is subject to my correct enunciation of an objective standard. So the objective standard, here's the deal. For all of human history, there was an objective standard between male and female. It was, for nearly all of human history, out of partial ignorance and partially because this is usually true, it was out of simply looking at people's genitals and assessing them based on their outward appearance, right? Which is still true for nearly all human beings on planet Earth at all times. Okay. What was that?
You can't really describe someone without secondary sex characteristics and gender them into something.
Well, I mean, you can based on primary sex characteristics if you can see their genitals.
What?
Doctors do this literally at birth all the time, right? So this is
Yeah, bro. Like, what are you saying right now? Like, bro, the problem I have with these type of discussions is that it would just complicates life unnecessarily. Like, if what you're saying is true, like you can't gender someone based on how they look, then you have to apply that same logic to everything. If you got a pencil in your hand and you want it to be a pen, what are you gonna do? Like, you can't just turn it into a pen. You have a bottle of water. What are you gonna do to make sure it's actually water before you start drinking it? Like, what? How do you use this type of logic and go around in your day to day? Like, it just sounds so complicated. It would drive me insane. It would just drive me insane. Even thinking about it just stresses me out, bruh. Like, you don't know what anything is unless, I guess, you punch it or touch. Like, bruh, if you about to get hit by a car and you see it driving towards you, like, is this actually a car? I don't know my calculations. I need to get hit by the car first to know if it's actually a car. You just stand there with your hands out, waiting for the car to hit you like a deer in headlights. Like, bruh, what are you trying to say right now? And I'm not trying to be funny, but like, how do you live your day-to-day thinking like this?
So, but your point is correct. If somebody was male dressed as a female and I misgendered them, and then they said, "Oh, look, I'm male," zip, right? Then I would say correct, and then correct. I would say, for all of human history, you were male. Now the standard is chromosomal, right? It's the SRNY gene and all of this. There is some objective standard, in other words, by which we can determine sex. The problem I have with the transgender argument is that people are arguing that there is no objective standard, that no objective standard exists by which I can determine sex. And in fact, sex is completely subjective. I can determine my own gender based on no biology and, in fact, in abeyance of biology. I can have every single biological characteristic of a male, and if I say I am female, then I am female. This is anti-scientific nonsense. Yes, Caitlyn Jenner had every biological characteristic of a male. There is no evidence whatsoever that Caitlyn Jenner was a female, because Caitlyn Jenner was an Olympic athlete as a male, with all of the chromosomes and all of the junk and all of it. Right? That is it. That is a biological male. And then we are supposed to believe that Caitlyn Jenner is a female. Listen, I'm happy to call Caitlyn Jenner Caitlyn, because people can legally change their name. If I were out to dinner with Caitlyn Jenner, I wouldn't go out of my way to say Caitlyn Jenner is a he, because why would I want to have a bad dinner with somebody? But if I'm speaking in public with folks, and I'm talking about the presence of sex, there is not a biologist worth their salt on planet Earth who would say that sex does not exist. Yeah, I agree. So if sex exists, then what are the characteristics of sex? And the problem with biological anti-realism or scientific anti-realism, as you're suggesting, is that there is no actual standard of sex.
I'm so happy I didn't major in like, what do you even major in to be a politician? Like political science or law? Because at this point, I wouldn't even know what to do at work. Like, I wouldn't even know what to do in my job. I'm so thankful that I'm an engineer, because this type of stuff, like this level of subjectivity, it just stresses me out when I hear it. Like, I don't know what's going on anymore, bro. Like, I'm not trying to, I really don't know what's going on. Like, it's no objectiveness in this. Like, what? I don't really know what to say. Like, he's trying to basically say that everything is chromosomal, whatever the crap. You don't really know anything. Life isn't real. Like, ooh, like, bruh. I can't believe this. Like,
It's completely malleable. It's okay. We can. Sorry. Do you have a quick response? I don't want to cut you off.
I'm not saying that sex is malleable. I'm saying there is male and female biologically. That is true, yes.
Right.
But I'm saying that gender is a spectrum. I'm saying that there is at least male, female, and non-binary because of this strange.
And what I'm saying is that there's a word game that goes on when people discuss gender. Because if we are talking about certain characteristics to which we attribute to masculine or feminine, if you want to say that there's a genetic male with feminine characteristics, we're fine. That's a male with feminine characteristics. Fine. That's fine. I mean, okay. So you're a man with feminine characteristics. That's cool. Who cares? Okay, but that doesn't make you a woman. In other words, if you are going, what we are now doing is we're playing a semantic game where we say a male with feminine characteristics is a woman. That's nonsense. Or a woman with male characteristics, masculine characteristics, is a man. That's nonsense too.
So I'm really trying to understand what he's saying. So I think what he's saying is that I guess there's male, female, and then like a middle ground. Bruh, I don't know, man. All I know is this stuff is, I don't see how, like, no comment.
And by the way, it actually ends up misgendering a lot of people who are just butch women or effeminate men. Right? So all of this, so in other words, by trying to separate out gender and sex completely, and then by using terms like male and female or woman and man that are innately connected to sex, what you are doing is deliberately, not you, what people are doing is deliberately confusing the issue such that you get idiocies like Ilhan Omar writing to the Powerlifting Association of the USA saying that a transgender woman who is a biological male should be able to compete against biological women because it is a myth that men can pick up heavier objects than women. That is not a myth. That's called science. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't really even know what the youngin was trying to, like, allude to during his discussion. Like, what are you trying to say right now? It kind of made it think like, is everything like fake? Like, what are you trying to say? I don't know. Like, I don't know. That is kind of basic biology if I'm being 100% like, that was kind of basic biology. But if you have any suggestions for me, comment them down below, or email